You're listening to the Fantasy Wildcard Podcast.
Good evening, welcome to the Fantasy Wildcard Dynasty Show. I'm your host, Kev. You can follow me on X at the Dynasty Mind. We're keeping it rolling. We've got the best three back in town once again. Bring you to my first amazing co-host, Ali, you can follow on X and on Blue Sky at FFDynastyGrill. Good evening, Ali. How are you doing?
Yeah, good evening, mate. Yeah, the best three back again. Exciting show tonight. Exciting time in the season. We had the best three on the Wildcard Rewind show last night. That was fantastic. Yes. Check it out. And can't wait for tonight's show. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing really good, thank you. Yeah, the snow has been falling in the UK over the past couple of days, last night and today mainly. But speaking of weather, I got to meet up with Wildcard Hall of Fame alumni Matt Thornton, the weatherman, this weekend. So it's his fault we got some snow this week. So send him some views at Matt FF Dynasty, please. Do give him some stick for that. But we're gonna stop talking about that idiot. We're gonna come on to our amazing second co-host Mags, who you can follow on X and Blue Sky. He might even be on Blue Sky at HotseatMags. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, from that idiot to another idiot. Hello, guys. Nice to see. Nice to see you. Yeah, fresh off a fantastic episode of the Wildcard Rewind. I think I crushed it. Lewis crushed it. Paul was terrible, but that's just how it rolls. Great to be back on the Dynasty Show, though, to crush some fun topics. This is going to be a great show, right?
Indeed it is, Mags. Indeed it is. We've got a super show tonight. We're going to recap in week 11 of the Dynasty season. Like we do every week, a little recap, but we're making it very special tonight. We're going to be revisiting the 2024 rookie drafts. We're going to make our selections. Now we know what we know, but that's going to come a little bit later on in the show. I'm going to stop rhyming now because there's nowhere else to go. First topic of the night. Yes, let's have it. First topic of the night. We're going to come to you, Ali. A bit of a naughty topic, right?
Certainly is. Another rhyme we have here. Unsolicited Nick's Pics. Yes. This is firstly an apology to obviously the stud that is Bo Nix. I was definitely wrong about this guy. Said that I didn't really want any shares of this guy. Obviously, with my method, I took one share just in case. Obviously, wish I would have taken a lot more shares. But what a guy. Yeah, quarterback 7 on the season in total points, which is just incredible. He's the joint quarterback 9 in points per game. Do you boys know who he is joint with?
Gino.
Quarterback 9.
Same division.
Oh. Brocky?
It's Kyler Murray. He is same amount of points PPR as Kyler Murray. Now, that is insane to think about at the start of the season. He'd be, with Kyler Murray not having an injury, him being on the same amount of points per game as Bo Nix. Unbelievable. 18.2 points per game. Only 6 points now less than the Konami superstar Jaden Daniels. So it just shows how awesome Jaden Daniels was at the start of the season, and Bo Nix has really caught him up. And what helped that was the absolute thrashing that they gave the Atlanta Falcons that I love to watch this week. Absolutely battered them. Over 300 passing yards, the first time he's done that in his career. 4 passing touchdowns. Just looked so poised. Looked like a veteran out there. Really did not look like a rookie. He's been a top 10 quarterback in 4 of the last 7 games, which again shows his consistency. The last 4 games been really, really impressive. 10 touchdowns, just to 1 interception. So he's not even turning the ball over. And then look back, at the start, the first 2 games were really shaky. He had a couple of interceptions in both of his first 2 starts. With the 1 rushing touchdown, no passing touchdowns. But since then, he's only turned the ball over twice. One of them was a fumble in 9 games. So 17 touchdowns to 2 turnovers, which is incredible, really. Really much better than I expected. It really has worked with Sean Payton and this offense. The remaining schedule, if you look again, I think is going to keep it up because it's mostly just a sea of green. A couple of little bits of orange in there, but overall on the season, it's just so impressive. I think the O-line has been pretty good. They've been scheming up some really nice plays for him, especially using his legs. He's really made Cortland Sutton look at a stud this year, which a lot of people have given up on Cortland Sutton. I mean, he's even made Marvin Mims relevant in fantasy. Incredible. And someone that I can't even say, Devon Vale. I don't know how to say that name, but I mean, he's also pretty relevant, which is incredible. So just looking in terms of Dynasty, quarterback 14 on Keep Trade Cut, which is quite interesting because he's in a grouping. He's 2 below Caleb Williams and he's 1 below Drake May. So really close together. And it got me thinking about how good this draft class actually is. And will it go down as one of the best ever? You got to think about Caleb. He's had some good spells. He looked good again this week against the Packers. Obviously, Jaden Daniels, the superstar. Drake May has looked really good as well with an absolute trash offense. Obviously, Bo Nix. We've not actually seen JJ McCarthy. I hope to see him next year slinging it to the Vikings, to Justin Jefferson, etc. And we finally saw a bit of Michael Penix this week. I think he had 4 passes, but I mean, he's going to inherit a really good offense himself. So will this go down as one of the best offenses ever? So I thought I'd compare it to a few we've had in the 21st century. So 2004, we had some Pro Bowlers. We had Big Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, 2-time Super Bowl winner. 2012 was a decent year as well. We had Russell Wilson, who's still slinging it today. Andrew Luck obviously had his career cut short. Robert Griffin III. Ryan Tannehill's been a good long-term quarterback. Nick Foles, obviously Kev, you'll like him. Go Birds, and Kirk Cousins as well. So 2012 was it was a special class. And then 2020, was it better? Is it going to be better than this class? So 2020 had the likes of Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, who looks really good now, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, and Tua still there. So boys, do you think this rookie class has the chance to be as good as them rookie classes, or do you think it could even be better? And out of them 3 that I said, what do you think was the best quarterback class?
That 2020 class is really strong, isn't it? What was that? Herbert, Burrow, Hurts, Tua, like really, really strong there. You said the other names, and it is easy to go like Ryan Tannehill and like these. But when you remember they were so fantasy relevant for so long that you have to give them their credit as well. These guys have got an absolute chance, and there's still 2 players to come. Like you mentioned, JJ McCarthy. We've seen a guy that sees actual ghosts run this offense pretty well. So I can imagine that JJ McCarthy is going to do a pretty good job. So yeah, I think this could be right up there with that 2020 class whenever it's all said and done. You got Jaden Daniels, who I'm not going to fight you if you say it, that he's your quarterback 1 overall. I'm not going to argue too much with that. Bo Nix looks really strong. Caleb Williams, you expect, will come on as well. So this looks like it could be a real special class, and we can kind of see why so many of them went inside that top 10.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you reeled off those 3 classes, it suggests it's going to be a top class, doesn't it? I think, yeah, 2020, I agree with Max. 2020 is one that stands out as amazing with the guys you mentioned and Jordan Love as well. Like, it took a while for him to come around, but he's smashing it as well. I think, like, I'm going to pat myself on the back. I said before this season that this class have a potential to be one of the best ever from a fantasy perspective, and it's looking positive. Like, Caleb Williams, it's probably going to define how good it is. McCarthy and Penix, probably unknown quantities at this moment, but the other guys started absolutely fantastically. I think, yeah, Nick's first couple of weeks looked really shaky, thinking, what's this idiot doing in the lineups? But he's really turned it around. Am I going to say he's in that conversation for rookie of the year for the offense? I'm a Jaden Daniels guy. Like, I've watched Jaden Daniels, I've watched Bo Nix. They play completely separate games in my eyes. I think Nix is doing a lot of the short stuff really well, running the system great. Whereas I think Jaden Daniels is doing absolutely fantastic all over the field. So give me Daniels there, but Bo Nix deserves some credit as well. I think it's going to be interesting to see where these boys land in our rookie draft in the second half of the show. That's going to be an interesting topic for debate, but definitely one of the best classes I can remember. And yeah, if you've gone for QB, you're really happy that you found some foundational pieces in your dynasty teams. Okie dokie, right. We're going to move swiftly on to the second topic of tonight's show. We're going to come to you, Mags, and I think you might be quoting a Pitbull lyric in a song, right?
Yeah, Pitbull. Yeah, I mean, you know me. I love Pitbull. To be honest, I did not know this was a Pitbull lyric, but here we go. Nice to see that someone's got. Is he Mr. 30? No, that's Flo Rida. Pitbull's the other guy, right? The other one. Turning negatives into positives, right? I always wondered, like, if Pitbull and Flo Rida had a song together, who, like, they would never sing, right? Because they always jump in halfway through, so it'd be like 2 minutes of silence. They like both jump in like 2 minutes into the song. But anyway, yeah, we're turning negatives into positives here. So some of you listening right now, you've probably got a dynasty team, and you're probably not doing very well. But the good thing about that in dynasty is that's great as well, because you can turn this team around, you can sell on some assets, and you can start to rebuild, which is just so much fun to do. There's nothing better than rebuilding the team, getting back up to that championship level. So I'm not going to waste anyone's time here by saying sell your running backs. Like, we all know rebuild things. So what I did instead was I found four players, one quarterback, one running back, one wide receiver, and one tight end, whose value has depreciated the most this season. And I thought I would put it to you guys. Do you think that these guys are actually a sneaky good buy for a rebuild team? They're not necessarily in your mold of buying like just young receivers and getting draft picks, but it is an advantage for a rebuild to go in there and try and find some potential value next year if these guys' stock is able to rise back up again. So starting off at quarterback, the quarterback that has dropped the most in value this year, going from quarterback 14 all the way down to right now, quarterback 22. Dak Prescott, an older prospect for sure, but do you boys think that Dak is a potential buy for a rebuilding team? Kev, let's go to you first.
100% a buy. Like, I don't get the hate for Dak. Like, he's got 3 as his first number of his age, so that's probably why people are negative on him. Look, he's tied up on his deal. CD Lamb's tied up. Look, the Cowboys suck, which is great. And look, they're going to have a recharge at offense, no doubt, when McGaffey gets fired. The second mic this week to get a beating in that stadium. But yeah, it's thank you. I'm still on Dak. Like, I've been trying to acquire him on rebuilds. I've been trying to sell him on contenders. Being honest, I've not had much luck selling him. Like, name your price, makes an offer. Nobody's making any offer for Dak, which is a shame because I think he's still got tons to give for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, echo really everything Kev said, because he's a smart guy. The fact that an Eagles fan is saying that the Cowboys quarterback is a massive buy, that tells you everything you need to know. Kev is a big homer, but he also likes to win. So buying Dak Prescott, a quarterback 22, will help you win in 2025 and beyond. So there's absolutely no doubt about it. He is a massive buy.
Absolutely love that. So we're putting the stamp of approval on Dak at quarterback. So let's go and look at the running back whose value has reduced the most this year, going from running back 7 at the start of the season all the way down to running back 29 now. Travis Etienne. Kev, is he a buy? I know it's always tricky buying running backs, but it is in the mind in this rebuild. You buy him, he rises up from 29, and you flip him and you sell him for a profit.
Look, I'm kind of interested in Etienne at that price. It's more to do with Tank Bigsby and changing situation. I think something's got to give there. New scheme, it'll be fresh slate for everyone. I find it tough for a new coach to come in and pick Tank Bigsby over Travis Etienne purely on talent. So at that cost, give me a chance. Look, he's been a top 6-8 running back in Dynasty. So yeah, why don't you pay a second for him and roll again, have a go?
Yeah, I'd love to disagree, but is that his real Keep Trade Cut ranking right now? RB29
or RB29. Yeah,
that is a massive drop off. Was he not my unplant this season?
Oh, maybe Ali, maybe that'll be
nice. Tapped into the ring.
Yeah. I'll look proper silly if it wasn't, but yeah, it's just a massive fall from grace. But we've seen just a renaissance of older running backs all at the top of the leaderboards right now. So I do think that if his future is not in Jacksonville, he's still going to get another chance. And you just got to see these older running backs that have all landed in great situations like Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry. It just takes Travis Etienne. What about if he's the next Chiefs running back? Or, just on a high-powered offense, he lands in a good situation. I mean, he's golden again. He'll be a top 12 Dynasty asset again. So, yeah, RB29, late second or whatever the price would be, that is, pretty much a no-brainer.
Yeah, I agree with you, boys. The next one, this one breaks my heart. This one really breaks my heart. Start of the season, going as wide receiver 20, which at the time I even thought was too low. He's now wide receiver 43. He might even be wide receiver 4 on his own team at this stage. What the hell do you do with Michael Pittman Jr.? At this stage, I'm just hoping he gets traded. Kev, what do you think?
I mean, what's happened to him? It's wild how he's fallen from being the one on his team. Behind another guy we're going to come on to very soon, but he's just fallen from grace. I think wide receiver 40, from where he's started to where he's got to, that's appealing. I think there is concern with who the QB is going to be. Is it going to be Richardson? Is it going to be Flacco? Is it going to be something else? But yeah, again, if you can get that exact value for Michael Pittman, you're picking some great players here, Mags. I mean,
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd have to see the sort of the tier of wide receivers that he's in, because I am a bit concerned. I've been a massive Michael Pittman fan, but you look at the likes of how well Josh Downs has played this year. Alec Pierce as well has become relevant again, and Adonai Mitchell as well. You'd have to think that he's going to take another leap, and I kind of like the chemistry that he has with Richardson. I do believe that Richardson will be the quarterback heading into 2025. So that does give me massive question marks over Pittman and his role and his value. I think it probably can't drop much more than wide receiver 43. But if there's a wide receiver in that tier that I can flip him to, it probably would interest me. So I could go either way for Pittman.
If I am a team that is struggling at wide receiver, I'm picking up the phone and trading for Michael Pittman Jr. Like, I think he's a really, really good player. He's just ended up in this weird situation where him and Anthony Richardson just don't quite work together for whatever reason. I would hope that he can get a trade out of Indy and show how good he really is. But it's a bit of a gamble. But if you can get him at that wide receiver 43 price, I'd love to be able to buy him there. And the last one, it's a bit trickier at tight end because it's just a bit of a wasteland at tight end. Mark Andrews, we all know Mark Andrews. His value has gone way down. It was tight end 6, which we thought was too low, actually. It went as far down as tight end 17. It's now back up to tight end 12. Any interest in buying Mark Andrews, or do you think the value, you missed your chance?
Yeah, Mark Andrews is a guy I've got a lot of. I think it was them strange 2 weeks in the middle where he got like nothing and he played like a lot of snaps. That's hurt a lot of dynasty managers' confidence in him. I'd be in at that price. Like, I don't think it's a long-term plan that I want to win a title, but I think it's a start to get you into that contention before you pivot to something with a higher ceiling.
Yeah, I think tight end 12 is still probably a little bit low. I'd probably have him around about 9 at the minute. I think his value could go either way. I think Obviously, he's had a good run, but I think that's corresponded with Isaiah Likely being out, because you saw him come back this week and Mark Andrews had another crap game and Isaiah Likely had, I think he had 80 receiving yards. He was more involved. So that is a bit of a worry for me. So again, I think I'm going to be a bit like Pittman and could go either way, but there's still a little bit of buying room at tight end 12, I think.
Yeah, and that's so nice to have you. Just some different takes on some rebuild buys there outside of the obvious. Get draft picks and young receivers.
Good picks.
Mags. I think, just echoing what you said, like players will decline in value, but there becomes a point where you might be out on a player. There'll be a point where you're backing on that player. So just be open-minded and don't get stuck in your ways, I guess. So, Ali was correct. It was ETN as your unplanned. So looking good there, sir.
Nice.
So we spoke about Pitbull and a music reference. Going to make another music reference here. It's one of my favourite Spice Girls songs. You hear that right? Spice Girls. Two become one. So what could that be about? I'm not going to sing it, but you all know the words, right? I want to talk about a couple of second-year players who have moved from wide receiver 2 to wide receiver 1. Obviously, it all makes sense now. First guy, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Solid week, 21.8 fantasy points against the Niners. I think it's been an interesting couple of weeks. He had that wide receiver 1 week before the bye. He's clearly overtaken Lockett in the pecking order. And the season, comparing him to DK Metcalf, first 4 games, Metcalf outscored him in each of those games. It's actually almost flipped 100% the other way, where the last 4 games, JSN has scored. He's basically beaten him 3-1 over the past 4 games in terms of head-to-head. So I think it's a really interesting time for the Seahawks. JSN's jumped Metcalf at keep trade cut now, wide receiver 16 versus wide receiver 17. And that's where JSN is in fantasy points per game, wide receiver 17 on this season. Only 22 years old, lofty expectations when he came into the league, but someone that's really showing what he's got now. Second guy, Josh Downs, 19.4 fantasy points against Jets this week. I think the QB play is questionable with Richardson or Flacco, like I mentioned, but like we said on Pittman, he's now ahead of him clearly. Wide receiver 31 for Downs, a keep trade cut 43 for Pittman. And again, someone in a similar range to JSN for fantasy points per game, wide receiver 18. Again, another young dude, underrated. And I think both of these guys actually are interesting archetypes, both heavy slot guys, the players that they're not playing on the outside much, they're both around 80% in the slot. So what I want to get as, they're doing great, but what is their actual ceiling?
That is a great question. So in terms of their ceiling, Downs and JSN, what is their dynasty ceiling? I'd start off by saying I wish that you could take Josh Downs and put him on a different offense that targeted the slot massively, because I just think it is the area of the field where Anthony Richardson is absolutely crap at. He likes to sling it deep. He likes to throw to the perimeter, and he's awful over the middle, which just does not suit Josh Downs. And I think you see that. But I think Josh Downs is a more talented wide receiver than Michael Pittman. I would definitely have him over Pittman in Dynasty right now. I think wide receiver 31. I think his ceiling is probably wide receiver 24, maybe wide receiver 20. But I have question marks with Richardson, what that ceiling could be, because you need a quarterback that's going to hyper target him for him to reach that ceiling. And the same with JSN. JSN, interesting that he's jumped DK Metcalf. I still personally would have DK ahead of him, but I definitely think these are in the same tier. It's just the type of wide receiver I like to go to as my wide receiver 1 is that big touchdown threat, the bigger bodied wide receiver. I love
all
it.
Right, Jordan Merritt.
DK Metcalf just fit. I think DK, when he's been fit this season, he's taken it to another level and it's been great. So I still think he's my 1. But JSN, you talk about lofty expectations. Always remember Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave coming out and both saying that JSN was the better wide receiver in college than those two. And look, well, maybe not Chris Olave, but look what Garrett Wilson's been able to do. I just think with DK Metcalf there, I can't see JSN ever getting up to a Garrett Wilson level. So perhaps his ceiling is probably wide receiver 12. I think I can't see them letting DK Metcalf go. So I always think he's going to be a 1A, 1B situation. So I think his ceiling is probably wide receiver 12. Josh Downs, wide receiver 20, 24, something like that.
If you're going to listen to Ali and take DK Metcalf over Jackson Smith and Jigba, I've got 3 letters for you. It's JSN. Just say no. So it's
I'm going to say just suck it.
I'll take JSN over DK Metcalf, but it is close. Ali, I actually agree with you. I think wide receiver 12, that would be kind of like Devonta Smith, right? Devonta Smith. We seen when he was red hot, he did finish as a wide receiver 1. I can see Jackson Smith and Jigba doing that. There might be a year where if DK goes down or something happens with DK Metcalf, we can see him creep up towards, what Garrett Wilson has been doing this year. But he's finally a really solid startable option right now, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Josh Downs is definitely getting there as well. He's someone that you wouldn't mind having in your flex position. Anthony Richardson as the quarterback does worry me. Having 3 other, good wide receivers in that room also does worry me. Jonathan Taylor likes to catch passes as well. That's worrying. So he's in a super crowded room. So yeah, you're right, Ali. I wish he was on another team. Like he just would get a chance to showcase a little bit more, but he could be a guy that can come in and be a solid wide receiver 2 for your team. So I don't know. The tricky one with him is Adonai Mitchell has so many tools. He could become, we could be saying the same thing next year about Adonai Mitchell, that he's now the one because he's got all the physical abilities to really, really take off. He just doesn't have it between the ears, but he seems to be getting a little bit better week by week. So he kind of worries me a little bit more than some of the others there. But yeah, solid wide receiver 2 for your team at the minute with Josh Downs. Both definitely worthy of a shout out. Both having great seasons.
Yes, good stuff. Yeah, I think it's really interesting for me with the slot archetype. Immediately think slot, cap ceiling. Did a bit of work this offseason, looked at sort of the different archetypes, and slot was very appealing. If you think about what Keenan Allen's done over the years, CD Lamb last year, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think you do need a little bit of luck with the scheme sort of matching from a pass point of view, doing a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. Otherwise, he can be capped. But yeah, I think, like we said on the previous one, there's going to be players that maybe a negative on that you come around on. Even though we like these guys and doing great now, there's going to be a point where they reach a ceiling and they become sells. So just, again, have it in your mind. Players you like, at some point they will become a sell as well. Okay, so we're going to come to the best part of the show now. You've all been waiting for it. The 2024 Rookie Mock Draft Revisited. Obviously, Alice suggested this on the week where he would get the 101, which is absolutely fine. Definitely did that on purpose. We're going to try and help you understand the various tiers and how we would do it if we, now that we know what we know. So, Ali, 101, who you got?
Yeah, to the absolute shock of absolutely nobody, I will be taking Jaden Daniels and running with the 101. I think he's consensus the 101 right now. Obviously, back in the official rookie drafts, it would be Caleb Williams was. I mean, consensus, everybody was taking him there at the 101. But I just think for the amazing start we've seen from Jaden Daniels, just the complete contrast. We spoke about Anthony Richardson being so raw as a prospect. We've had exciting prospects like Trey Lance, who can be a Konami quarterback, but so raw and just have not had the experience. Whereas you look at Jaden Daniels, he's nearly as old as me. He's had so many games in college, and he just comes in and he just looks like a natural with a team, the Commanders, that haven't known how to win the past God knows how many seasons. They're not exactly filled with talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But the way he just looks so poised as a passer, as a rusher, he's made Terry McLaurin look really good. I just think he's taken it to another level, and he's in my tier 1 of quarterbacks in Dynasty right now with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Perhaps Jalen Hurts is there as well, but that's another conversation. Jaden Daniels is absolutely special. I think the interesting thing is the last couple of weeks he's played the Steelers and the Eagles, and perhaps they've figured him out a little bit, or they've definitely I don't really know what the word is, but he needs to figure out how to now navigate what the defenses are taking away from him. So he needs to make that next step, which would be interesting to see whether he can now do that. Because he's not been great for the last few weeks, but I think he's absolutely so special. His future is bright. I want the Commanders to take T. Higgins in the offseason and just explode. So Jaden Daniels, consensus 101.
Bloody hell. You sounded like me talking about Daniels then. That was a lot of praise there. Right, Max, 102. Who you got?
Give me Carson Steele, running back from Kansas City. No, he's got a pet alligator. Everyone knows that, right? It's pretty cool. This is where you still have to go Caleb Williams here, Superflex. Like, came in, we didn't quite put what other people were saying, the generational tag on Caleb Williams, but he was pretty damn close. He's made some special things happen for the Bears. They're a complete joke of an organization. I had never been more sure in my life that someone was not going to make a field goal than this weekend. That when the Bears didn't make that field goal against the Packers, it's just what the Bears do. They need to clean house, like with that coaches, that they need to start again and, just build around Caleb Williams. That is your project. That is your future. Give him a chance. Let him learn on the job. I think that's going to be just fine for him. And hopefully he can start to repay that 101 that so many people invested into him. I'm not ready to throw Caleb Williams out. I think he's going to get 1, 2. I mean, look how long people have given Trevor Lawrence. He deserves just that same amount of time before we really, really, really start to wonder what's been going on with Caleb. I think he's still pretty comfortably the 102. But yeah, Ali, you're right. Undisputed 1-1 has to be Daniels now. You can't take Caleb over him.
Yeah, Caleb Williams, like I mentioned the other week, like the schedule he's got coming up, it's absolutely brutal. So I think if he can do good for fantasy, like to finish season, that's going to be a key thing for me. Like if he smashed it out of the park, that's gonna really vault him up in my estimations. But I think it's going to be an interesting second half of the season, and I think rightly so, he deserves to be up in that top tier at least. So my pick at the 103, I'm going to take Malik Neighbors still. Right, he's a guy that, yes, there is concerns at quarterback, absolutely. Spoke a lot about the Giants quarterback situation on the rewind last night. Tommy DeVito.
Tommy Cutlets, what a guy.
Tommy Cutlets getting a shout out. I think his agent got a little shout out as well.
He's the best. He's the best thing about the NFL. I don't care about any of the plays, any of the Super Bowls. Nothing beats Tommy DeVito's agent.
Yeah, it looks like something from a college football film, doesn't it, or something? So,
so good.
Yeah, Malik Neighbors, like he started off the season on fire. He's had the injuries, dealing with some poor QB play. I still think he's got the most talent of the wide receivers in this class. His situation is going to change, and I don't think a guy like Marvin Harrison's done enough in a really favourable situation to close the gap or to maintain that level above Malik Neighbors. So give me Neighbors. He's a slot guy. I like slot with wide receivers. Hate the Giants. Go Birds. I'll lay back to you at the 104.
Yeah, you've surprised me there, Kev, because I thought you were going to quarterbacks and letting Malik Neighbours fall to me. So this is a difficult one because it's almost a tier break, and there's also a onesie position guy here that is rising massively with just an unbelievable season. But if I was taking my rookie, this is super flex format. It's one of them picks where it's probably the right pick, but doesn't feel great. I'll probably pick Drake May with the 104, just because I think I like Drake May. I wasn't amazed by him coming out as a prospect, but I think he's really, really impressed me with the just lack of offense that he's working with. The fact that he is using his legs so much. He looks like he's been playing the game for years. He just such a grown-up guy. I think he's years beyond his age right now. I can see him taking a really big leap in 2025. I hope that they give him some help. I think that they build up the offensive line and give him a really good weapon, whether that be they go after T. Higgins or someone in the draft, someone else. I do think you're going to see a big leap from Drake May next year. Now, it's a disgusting pick because there's the likes of Marvin Harrison Jr. and Bo Nix and Brock Bowers, who have just been incredible. But I think it's probably going to be the right pick if I look back at this in 12 months' time. So, I'm going for Drake May.
Well, yeah, you've both gone QBs. Well, you've got QB both picks actually, Ali, and then you've gone Caleb Mags. I think, look, like we were saying before, the market's got Caleb, got May and Nix all in the same tier. So, wouldn't be surprised if they're close within this rookie mock draft. A guy that, look, Drake May's come in, raw prospect, not in a great situation, and he's looked fantastic. So he gets plenty of praise from the NFL film guys as to what he's doing as well. So not just fantasy, but there's plenty to be positive about with Drake May. 105, Mags, who are you taking?
I can't leave Marvin Harrison Jr. on the board. I can't do it. He is a special player. It's taken him a bit longer to adjust to the NFL than I think people were expecting, but let's not pretend that he's having an absolutely, dreadful season. He's shown us in moments that he can still get it done. The main issue he has right now is James Conner is just obliterating everything in front of him, and they don't really need to throw to him too much. They're doing so well with that. So I could just see Marvin Harrison Jr. being a guy that you have in your team. You can happily start him, have him in your lineup for the next 10 years. I still believe in the talent. I still think he's a freak. We've seen this happen a lot where especially rookie wide receivers can find it tricky to adjust to new teams, new environments, new quarterbacks, all that. Yeah, I still think Marvin Harrison Jr. is an elite prospect. That was a player that I was more than happy to put the generational stamp on, unlike Caleb Williams. So I'm not losing faith in someone that I put a generational stamp on after one season. So yeah, I'll take Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, it's a great pick, and like I think Ali alluded to then, like so many picks that have hit, like it is tricky in this rookie mock draft. The first 6, 7, 8 picks are all fantastic players, and it's there's going to be values at this point in the rookie draft. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is someone that's got an absolute ton of name value. I've seen him be a 102 picking rookie drafts, some places 101. So I don't think the owners that have him will be out on him just yet, and I think you can still feel really comfortable about his market. And he's had a good season, so it's not like he's completely flopped or failed. He's had a good season, just maybe not what we was expecting with the hype of his dad, etc. So it comes to me at the 106. I've got a couple of players that I've had my eye on, but I'm going to go for the guy that was number 3 on my board. So this might shock people. It's not a quarterback. It's Brock Bowers, a guy that I think sometimes when you do an exercise like this, think about your startups next season. I think Brock Bowers is guaranteed to be in the top 2 rounds. I think he's going to be the tight end one. I think he's someone that, yes, it's a onesie position. Yes, it's devalued. If a suplex QB hits, it's going to be worth more than Brock Bowers. And we have seen Sam Laporta go down this pathway of coming to the tight end one, and then he's flopped a bit. Bowers is on a different level to Sam Laporta as a prospect. He's a guy that's 21 years old, is in an absolute dire situation. There's not a ton of touchdown opportunities in that offense, so everything's going to get better. QB upgrade, other weapons to take sort of make it easier for him as well. This is his current pace, like just based on what he's done so far. His current pace: 119 receptions, 1,200 yards, 5 touchdowns. Now, remember those numbers: 119. The current record for tight end rookies is 86 by Sam Laporta, set last year.
Wow.
The yardage is 1,076 by Mike Ditka. A Hall of Fame, basically, rookie season was unreal. So he's going to smoke those both. But here's another one for you. Receptions for receivers, including wide receivers, the record, it's Puka Nakua, isn't it? 105. Bowers on pace for 119. He's going to beat Puka's record by 14 catches as a 21-year-old tight end playing the toughest
on the
position.
Raiders.
On the Raiders so I'm very much in on Brock Bowers. I think, yes, you can argue if Bo Nix hits and becomes QB1 in Dynasty, he's worth more, but I feel more comfortable with Bowers there at 106.
Are you saying people on Twitter aren't worried about the landing spot anymore?
When it comes to 107. Hey, yeah. Maybe when players are good, you shouldn't worry too much.
Right.
So yeah, we're halfway through the mock. Hopefully, no one's mocking our picks so far, because they've all been 10 out of 10 perfect. But we're going to come to the 107 now, Ali. It might be a layup, but maybe it's not.
Yeah, I'm thinking about going a little bit rogue with this pick. I've said that I've got one share of Bo Nix, and I'd love to get more, but I kind of think it's a bit boring. And I've taken 2 quarterbacks already, so I want to put out there that I've got 2 quarterbacks. So I'm going to go a little bit rogue and go for my other love that's at wide receiver in Brian Thomas Jr., who absolutely is killing it this season. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence has gone down to the injury, so I think in terms of the hype, the big games for Brian Thomas Jr. are probably not going to be there for the rest of this season. But I mean, what a start he's had. And I mean, a lot of people are surprised. A lot of people had Brian Thomas Jr. ranked low. I had him above Xavier Worthy. He was someone that I was really, really impressed with. Catching all them touchdowns at LSU was just incredible. And it was at 17 in his final year. And, he earned them all of those touchdowns. And he's just hit it off. He's secured that wide receiver 1 role at the Jags just so quickly. And I thought it would take him all year to be able to do that. The criticism coming out of college was he was just a deep threat. He didn't have a route tree that was refined, but I think he's shown that he's very, very versatile, and I think he's going to be a dominant wide receiver for the next 8-10 years. And I think his ceiling in Dynasty is honestly a top 8 wide receiver. I think he can get up there. So Brian Thomas Jr., I just wanted to pick him because I know if I didn't take him here, I wasn't going to get him. Maybe not. Brian Thomas Jr. is my pick at 107.
Yeah, I love that pick for you, Ali. You're a big Brian Thomas Jr. fan, but it's well warranted for what he's done. I was lower on him probably than consensus. Someone that I felt had a wide range of outcomes, but yeah, he's proven me wrong in essence, doing it with an absolute dumpster at QB, and I'm not on about Mac Jones. So we're gonna move on to the 108 Mags, and it's putting you in an interesting position with a guy staring down the barrel at you, someone that you've been a huge fan of.
This this is easy again, right? This is you're right. Brian Thomas Jr. wouldn't have come back to you because I would have taken him here, Ali. Because I thought you were going to take Bo Nix, so I'll take Bo Nix here. This is a layup. Bo Nix has been playing so well. It is interesting. One of the big knocks on Bo Nix, and he was someone that I had ranked really highly in sort of my rookie process based on how he played at Oregon in his final year. And I'm slightly annoyed at myself because I let myself get influenced by other people saying, well, he's just a system player, like he's just running that system. That's why he's, doing so well. I can hear the exact same things happening about Dylan Gabriel this year at Oregon, so I'm going to keep my eye on that as well. But the reality is you can be a system player in the NFL as well and do really well, especially if your coach is Sean Payton, who runs one hell of a system. So Bo Nix has come in and just been a system player, and we've seen it work really, really well. So I think there's a bit of a learning lesson maybe from Bo Nix and what he's done in college, where it looks like he's just kind of going through the numbers and running the system. But he's doing the same at the Broncos, and it's working really well in terms of NFL success and success for fantasy as well. So Bo Nix here, delighted to pick him up. He's absolutely crushing it, and hopefully some learning lessons going forward with how well he's done.
Well put, Mags. That was perfectly executed. I think, imagine you're a contending side, won the ship last year, 111, 112 spot. Brian Thomas Jr., Bo Nix. If you avoided the shitstorm of Jonathan Brooks and you've added one of those guys, absolutely loving life, aren't you? So great pick there. And for me, that's the end of a tier. I think this next pick, it becomes more risky for me. And I'm going at the 109. It's one of three guys. I think one will ruin Ali's life, so I'm tempted to go that way. Oh no, I'll be true. I'm going to go for JJ McCarthy. I think he's a guy that's forgotten about. I wouldn't be surprised if consensus had him at 111, 112 in certain spots because people forget about what he was as a prospect. Sam Darnold's someone that's hit off it as a QB again this season, on that cusp of being a QB1 on the season. And I love JJ McCarthy, the talent. I think there's a lot of growth in his game still, but I think he's in a great place for it to happen. He's got superb situation. And the only niggle I've got is, will he be the starter week one, or will it be like sort of a bridge in till he's fully back where he comes in week 6, 7? That'd be my only concern. But I just feel the other guy I might have gone for has multiple concerns, but I won't spoil who that name is. It'll come up in a little bit. Yes, JJ McCarthy at the 109 for me, and we're going back to you at the 110, Ali. I'm going to pretend to be shocked, I think.
I feel like I want to trade this pick because I have two players that I love that could equally fill this spot and be happy with.
Come on, Ali, just say Lad McConkey, for God's sake. Can we please stop drawing it out?
Say the line.
Say the line.
No, I'm not actually going. I'm going to hope that one of you two boys is sensible and you take Lad McConkey in round 1, because otherwise this is going to be a travesty. I'm going to pick Rome Odunze.
Ooh, and
I still am a massive Rome Odunze fan, and I think there's absolutely room for optimism. I still want to buy him right now because I think 2025 or even the back end of this year, you're going to see an explosion from Rome. I think the signs are there. I think Shane Waldron is an absolute asshole, and he was taking Rome Odunze off the field to get another tight end on the field, which is just absolute insanity. Where we saw the new OC come in this week, Thomas Brown, is it his name or something like that? And I think 83 or 86% of 3 wide receiver sets. So it was almost always 3 wide receiver sets, and he led the team in targets and catches. So I think that there's going to be an explosion soon for Rome Odunze. So if you can get him at the back end of round 1, that is absolute insane value. Rome wasn't built in a day, and I think what you're getting with Rome Odunze is an absolute elite wide receiver at the back end of round 1. So, got to take him.
That last sentence, that's all that people remember. Like, literally, elite wide receiver back end of round 1. I think Rome Odunze is the guy I was alluding to. I think there is some concerns there with, is Caleb going to be the man? Is Odunze going to be the man? What's going to come in at OC? But you're right. I think talent-wise, he's above JJ McCaffrey. I mean, he's above some of the guys taken ahead of him in this rookie draft. I think if he hits what he can hit, he's going to be in that conversation, in that top 5, top 6. So great value pick for Rome Odunze. And we're going to come to you, Mags, for the 111. And surely it's going to be one of Ali's crushes.
I'm annoyed. I was sure you were going to take him, and I was going to get the steal Rome Odunze there, Ali. I was looking forward to that. I'm going to go for a pick. It's not a fun pick. It's not even the controversial one that I want to talk about, because I got to stay true to this. Oh, maybe it is controversial. I don't know. I'm still taking Michael Penix at the back end of the first round. Kirk Cousins. I'm not sure how long Kirk Cousins has left. We've seen him look really, really good some weeks. We've seen him look really slow, sluggish, sloppy other weeks. We've seen Michael Penix even come in this week because they were so far behind. Michael Penix has an excellent arm, works really, really well with, the kind of players that are on offer there at the Falcons. And we've seen that it's a really good system there. And I think Michael Penix is going to be able to run it pretty smoothly and pretty well. It is more of a long-term investment, but we're playing Dynasty here, so that's what it's all about.
Love that, Mags. I think it's you stay true to your colours. We've not seen enough of Penix yet, so you can't really change that value on him too much, I don't think, from where you had him pre to where you have him now. It's going to be fun when Penix comes in and his main target straight run, and that's going to be an exciting time for all. I
actually like Drake London slightly more with Michael Penix as the quarterback, just the way he slings it. Actually, can I just say?
Full circle. I adore that. That's fantastic. So I'm going to come to the 112, and it all basically comes down to which player am I going to break Ali's heart on. A few ways could go. I think there's running backs that just fall into round 2. Guys like Jonathan Brooks, who hasn't done anything but deserves to fall in value because he's an absolute disgrace, and I took too much from rookie drafts and sick of you. And you can't sell him anywhere. But that's for another time. Tyrone Trace, the guy that was close, but I'm actually not going to go running back. I nearly went Bucky Irving. He would have been my pick if this guy wasn't there. So I'm going to go for Lad McConkey, a guy that I think he deserves to be in that tier as it stands with Rome Odunze, someone that I am playing more situation over talent for the short term. But if I'm thinking this season, next season, Lad McConkey's done enough to me to show that he's deserving of a really strong role with Justin Herbert. He doesn't have to worry about his QB. He's got Justin Herbert. I think at least till the end of next season, I'm very comfortable with him where I'm taking him here. Do I think he's amazing long term? No, but he's a value. So give me Lad McConkey. It's made Ali's night. It's also upsetting that Bucky Irving's in round 2, but you can't have it all, can you?
No. Love that pick, Kev. What a guy. I've done a little bit on him today. He's on pace for over 1,000 receiving yards this year, quietly having a really good season. You mentioned he's tied to Justin Herbert, who's looking really, really good right now. And yeah, he's 250 receiving yards ahead of the next LA Chargers wide receiver. So he's dominating. Hopefully the touchdowns will come. If you can get him at back end of round 1, that was amazing value.
Love it. Slightly better than Joe McMillan. Right, that brings us to the end of tonight's show, where we've discussed week 11. We've looked at that. We've given our reactions to week 11 on a few topics, and then we've gone all the way back to the 2024 rookie mock season to give you our revisited version of how it should look in Dynasty. So thank you for tuning in. Be sure to follow us and subscribe to us on X and YouTube at FantasyWildcard, at Wildcard Dynasty. Join us for our show every Tuesday. Thank you once again. Have a good one. And we will see you again very, very soon.
When you have the wild card, you have the power to change the game.